some survivors of the dead pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, say that his former longtime assistant lied to Congress when she testified behind closed doors last month. Leslie Groff told lawmakers she never met any of the girls and young women who provided massages to Epstein and that she didn't know anything about their backgrounds, including how old they were. But in interviews with CNN's MJ Lee, multiple survivors say that Groff had access to their passport information, documents that clearly listed their dates of birth. They described meeting Groff in person and being paid directly by her. Lawyers for Leslie Groff did not respond to CNN's request for comment. We should note that Groff has never been criminally charged in connection with Epstein's crimes. Joining us now, one of the survivors taking issue with Groff's testimony, Marina Lacerda. Marina, before we begin, I know this topic must be horrible to talk about. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And we will continue to fight.
You told CNN that you first met Epstein in 2002, just shy of turning 14, and that you did interact with Leslie Groff directly over the years. Tell us more.
That is correct. And in fact, it's weird that she has said that she has never spoken with any of the survivors or has met with us. In order to get to Jeffrey Epstein, in order for you to even speak with Jeffrey Epstein, you had to go through Leslie Groff. So I find that very, very hard to believe that she never spoke to us. And she has met myself quite a few times and has handed me over envelopes with money, with Broadway shows. We have definitely met and we have definitely spoken.
What was your reaction when you heard what she had told the committee?
You know, I was in shock because this is the only person that we were expecting to go up there and to bring true accountability to this whole cover-up. And it's really sad that she wasn't able to just be completely honest about it.
Are there any other interviews by the Oversight Committee that you've heard about that concern you?
You know, I mean, there are some interviews I think that they're lining up that will be coming up. Haven't heard much, or I've heard some. Don't really, you know, I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but I think there are some interviews coming up.
As a survivor, what do you and other survivors need to see from the Oversight Committee as they continue their investigation?
We really, really need to see investigations, you know, we need to see investigations actually to be, you know, to start here. We have no investigations that haven't started yet. We have all these names that have been released on the Epstein files, co-conspirators, along with perpetrators, and yet not one investigation. We also need to see, you know, we have Todd Blanche coming up, you know, turning to be, or, you know, acting as the Attorney General, but also going to be the Attorney General. And we are hoping that everybody will vote no on this. Blanche has failed the survivors all along. He's responsible for the failure of the redacting of our information to protect us, but also responsible for failing to investigate the co-conspirators and the perpetrators. So we need everyone to stand with us on this. And as for, you know, Leslie Groff, we really hope if there's any, you know, anything coming up that's involving her, to have to, you know, at least be honest, just have some accountability, you know.
They still haven't released, the Justice Department still hasn't released all the Epstein files. There are more than 2 million documents that have not seen the light of day. Do you think we're ever going to see them?
We have to see them. We have to see them. Todd Blanche cannot go around saying that there's nothing more to see and that we have to stop talking about this and they're duplicates, or, you know, I can't even think of any more of excuses that has come out of his mouth. And to even turn around and say, we have met with the survivors. He has not met with the survivors. He has not met with any of us. And there are other files out there that need to be released. It's just insane that there's all these excuses why the rest of the files haven't been released. If they're duplicates, just release them. We will figure that out for ourselves.
Marina Lacerda, thank you so much. In light of this reporting from MJ Lee, the House Oversight Committee told CNN that the committee is currently reviewing Ms. Groff's transcript against the available evidence. Joining us now is a member of the Oversight Committee, Democratic Congressman James Walkinshaw of Virginia. Thanks so much for being here, Congressman. So Leslie Groff, just to get people up to speed, she helped manage nearly every aspect of Jeffrey Epstein's life from appointments with women to meetings with powerful individuals. And all the evidence laid out in the millions of Epstein files released by the document talks about a lot of this. It's a federal crime, of course, to knowingly and willfully make false statements to Congress. If you, I mean, it sounds, I mean, like what we just heard is evidence that she lied to Congress, I guess. If the committee looks into it, then what? What do? Do you charge her with lying to Congress?
Well, we could absolutely refer those charges to the Department of Justice, no question about it. I think what we need to do now is bring Ms. Groff back in for a deposition under oath. In my view, that should be public, so the world can see, the country can see, the survivors can see Ms. Groff's testimony and decide for themselves who they believe, the courageous survivors like Marina there, or Leslie Groff, who was Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand assistant for many years.
Do you trust Todd Blanche and the Trump Justice Department to, if you were to bring charges or refer the case, refer whatever allegation you make to the Justice Department? You think they'd actually bring charges?
I do not. And look, the Justice Department should today reopen the Epstein investigation based on what our committee's investigation has revealed. We know the FBI never interviewed key figures, the lawyer, the accountant, some of the assistants, those closest to Epstein never interviewed by the FBI. We know that new allegations have come to light as a result of our investigation. Sarah Kellen, who came in and made new allegations that need to be fully investigated. The DOJ should reopen that, interview those who need to be interviewed, prosecute those who need to be prosecuted.
Bob Garcia, who's the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, said that, quote, Leslie Groff knew what was happening in Epstein's inner circle, which is why Chairman Comer should have required her to testify under oath. Why are these witnesses not testifying under oath? I don't understand.
The precedent was kind of set when Chairman Comer allowed Pam Bondi to come in for a closed-door transcribed interview rather than a public under oath deposition. And I think now Chairman Comer's in a box because he didn't require Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of the United States, to be under oath in a deposition. Harder for him to require private citizens like Leslie Groff, Leon Black, and others to come before a deposition under oath. He set a bad precedent there with Pam Bondi, but these folks need to be under oath in a formal deposition.
Can you explain to our viewers why the Justice Department has not followed the law that President Trump signed, that all of the Epstein files, with redactions of the names of the survivors and victims, why that hasn't been done? More than 2 million documents still not released, months after the law went into effect. Redactions of people whose names should not have been redacted, possibly perpetrators. Not redactions, lack of redactions of survivors and victims. I mean, am I wrong that the Justice Department is breaking the law that President Trump signed?
I believe you're absolutely right. I went to the DOJ and saw some of those illegally redacted documents that were clearly redacted not to comply with the law, but to protect Donald Trump from further embarrassment. I don't have a good explanation. Todd Blanche says that the unreleased files are duplicative. He's not required to release files that are duplicative. My view is release them. Let the American people decide whether they're duplicative.
Is there something in the law saying that you don't have to release files that are duplicative?
No, it doesn't. He's made a subjective decision that A, those files are duplicative, and B, he doesn't have to release them. I hope he's asked that question at his confirmation hearing.
New Mexico's Attorney General Raul Torres says the Justice Department is withholding critical information related to Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Some Epstein survivors, including Shante Davies, the late Virginia Giuffre, have said that the ranch is one of the places where they were sexually assaulted. Torres is arguing that the lack of cooperation from DOJ is eroding the state case.
Well, New Mexico deserves tremendous credit for doing what the Department of Justice is not willing to do, which is reopen this investigation based on the knowledge that we now have. Look, this has been a cover-up. I have to say it. The Trump administration, the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche have executed a massive cover-up here. I continue to have questions as to why. We know more and more about Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein. He's clearly embarrassed by that, doesn't want information to come out about that. But we have to do right by these survivors. The Department of Justice has to end the cover-up and stop stonewalling.
What repercussion is there if the Justice Department of the United States is breaking the law?
Well, a future Congress, perhaps one that's controlled by Democrats, could pursue contempt charges against Justice Department officials who are failing to comply with the law. We can use the funding process, the appropriations process in Congress to compel the Department of Justice to comply with the law. But right now we have a Republican Congress that is blocking those efforts from moving forward.
All right, Congressman James Walkinshaw of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, thank you so much.